This is how seniors should drink coffee to prevent diabetes and control blood sugar. What if making just one small adjustment to your daily coffee habit could actually help manage your blood sugar levels in a natural way? Before you take another sip of that warm, comforting beverage, there's something quite significant you should be aware of. Something that has the potential to truly make a difference in your overall health. This isn't about some sort of magical cure or a product I'm trying to sell you. We're talking about coffee, that familiar drink likely sitting in your kitchen right now, and a surprisingly simple detail that can alter everything, specifically the way and the precise timing with which you enjoy that cup. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and in my medical practice, I've spent recent years paying very close attention to hundreds of individuals dealing with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, particularly those who are over the age of 60. The information I'm about to share today has genuinely transformed the lives of many of them. Brazil is currently grappling with a quiet health crisis. According to Brazil's own Ministry of Health, the number of diabetes cases has surged by a staggering 135% in less than 2 decades within our country. Today, nearly 20 million Brazilians are living with this disease, and data gathered by Vigitel, the government's system for monitoring public health, reveals that among seniors aged 65 and older, the prevalence reaches an astounding 30%. That's 1 in every 3 people. This is a much larger number than most people realize. What concerns me most in my day-to-day work isn't just those who have already received a formal diagnosis, but also the vast number of people who are teetering on the edge, experiencing high glucose levels, that persistent, unexplainable tiredness after lunch, and a thirst that just won't go away, yet haven't been diagnosed, or perhaps have been diagnosed but feel lost, unsure of what to do beyond taking medication and simply waiting. Please stay with me until the end of this video. I'm going to reveal how a minor change, one that costs absolutely nothing, can have a profound impact on your glucose control. But first, it's essential that I share something about coffee that most people are completely unaware of. Think of your pancreas as a small, efficient factory. Its primary job is to produce insulin, the vital hormone responsible for unlocking the doors of your body's cells, allowing glucose to enter and be converted into energy. When you eat, glucose enters your bloodstream. This triggers your pancreas factory to spring into action, manufacturing insulin, and then your cells readily absorb the glucose. Under normal circumstances, this process works beautifully. The trouble arises when this factory becomes overworked and overwhelmed. When you consume a lot of foods that cause your blood sugar to spike rapidly, your pancreas is forced to operate at its absolute limit. Over time, your body's cells start to become less responsive to insulin's signal. To compensate, the pancreas has to produce more and more insulin to achieve the same effect. This gradual resistance of your cells to insulin is precisely what leads to insulin resistance, the precursor to type 2 diabetes. Now, what does coffee have to do with all of this? From a biochemical perspective, coffee is a truly remarkable beverage. It contains hundreds of beneficial compounds, but 2 in particular have captured the attention of scientists: chlorogenic acid and trigonelline. Imagine these 2 compounds as your body's internal traffic controllers within your digestive system. When you consume coffee before you eat, these compounds work to slow down and regulate the absorption of sugar from the food you're about to consume, instead of a sudden flood of glucose rushing into your bloodstream all at once. You experience a much smoother, more manageable flow, allowing your pancreas to handle it without undue stress. A comprehensive study published in the esteemed journal Diabetes Care, conducted by researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health, analyzed data from over 1 million individuals. The findings were so compelling that they deeply impressed me when I first encountered them. The study concluded that regular coffee consumption is linked to a significant reduction in the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And this wasn't a minor effect. The risk decreased in a dose-dependent manner. This means that the more cups of coffee consumed daily within sensible limits, the lower the risk of developing the disease. Later, in 2018, researchers from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden one of the world's most respected medical institutions, conducted a review of 30 different studies involving nearly 1.2 million participants. They confirmed that drinking coffee, both regular and decaffeinated, is associated with approximately a 30% reduction in the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. However, here's the crucial detail that hardly anyone ever discusses. These remarkable health benefits are entirely dependent on how you drink your coffee, because consuming coffee the wrong way at the wrong time can actually work against you, and sadly, this is precisely what I witness far too often in my practice. Let me tell you about Mr. Arnaldo, a 72-year-old retired gentleman who was a man of deep-seated habits. He had been drinking coffee daily since he was 17 years old and was quite proud of this long-standing routine. Yet, when he came to my office, his fasting glucose level was 138, and his HbA1c, which provides an average of blood sugar levels over the preceding 3 months, was 7.1%, significantly above the desired range. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm doing everything right. I drink coffee every day, and I go for walks 3 times a week." So, I asked him to walk me through his coffee routine in meticulous detail, and that's when we uncovered the root of the problem. Every single morning, as soon as he woke up, before he ate anything at all, he would drink a large mug of strong black coffee. Then, at around 3 p.m., he'd have another cup, often accompanied by a sweet biscuit, and sometimes even a third cup before bed, as he believed it helped him relax. These are 3 classic mistakes, and I'm going to explain each of them to you now. Mistake number 1: drinking coffee on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning. This is perhaps the most common error, and unfortunately, the one that often causes the most harm. When you wake up after a full night of fasting, your body naturally has elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. This is the same hormone your adrenal glands release when you're facing an urgent situation. Cortisol already signals your liver to release glucose into your bloodstream to provide you with the energy needed to start your day. It's a perfectly normal survival mechanism. The problem is that caffeine has the effect of amplifying this natural process. It further stimulates your adrenal glands, leading to the release of even more adrenaline, and consequently, your liver responds by pumping even more glucose into your blood. And at this point, you haven't even consumed a single bite of food. The result? Even before you've had breakfast, your glucose levels can already rise by anywhere from 20 to 40 milligrams per deciliter. I've seen laboratory results confirming this phenomenon in patients who diligently monitor their glucose levels continuously. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition also corroborated this effect, confirming that drinking black coffee on an empty stomach after a night of sleep can significantly elevate morning blood glucose levels. Mistake number 2: adding sugar, artificial sweeteners, or cream to your coffee. This might seem like a harmless habit, but it's far from it. A single spoonful of sugar in your coffee causes an immediate spike in your glucose levels and effectively negates all the beneficial effects of the chlorogenic acid you just consumed. It's akin to trying to extinguish a fire while simultaneously pouring gasoline on it. And what about artificial sweeteners? Many people believe they are the perfect guilt-free solution. However, recent research, including a study published in the scientific journal Nutrition in 2021, suggests that artificial sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose can actually alter your gut microbiota, the complex community of bacteria residing in your intestines that plays a crucial role in glucose metabolism in ways that can be detrimental to long-term blood sugar control. Furthermore, there's a significant piece of data released in January 2025, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition by the Harvard School of Public Health, which analyzed data from 3 large American cohorts. They found that coffee consumed without any additives was associated with a 10% reduction in diabetes risk for each additional cup consumed per day. However, when coffee was consumed with sugar, this protective effect diminished considerably. To put this into practical terms, eliminate sugar from your coffee. It sounds incredibly incredibly simple, but its impact is profound. Mistake number 3. Drinking coffee in the late afternoon or evening. Caffeine has a half-life in the body of approximately 5 to 6 hours. This means that if you drink coffee at 3 p.m., roughly half of that caffeine will still be circulating in your system by 8 p.m. This persistent presence of caffeine can keep your cortisol levels elevated and interfere with the quality of your sleep. And it's during deep, restorative sleep that your body effectively regulates a significant portion of your glucose metabolism. Poor sleep directly translates to uncontrolled glucose levels. It creates a detrimental, vicious cycle. When I explained all of this to Mr. Arnaldo, and we worked together to adjust his coffee routine, a remarkable change occurred. In just 8 weeks, his fasting glucose level dropped from 138 to 112. His HbA1c improved from 7.1% to 6.6%. This was achieved without any changes to his medication, without adopting a restrictive diet, and without going to the gym, solely by making simple adjustments to his coffee habits. Now, I'm going to guide you on exactly how you should be drinking your coffee to maximize the benefits that science has already rigorously proven. But before we dive into that, I have a small request. If you're finding this information helpful, please take a moment to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have many more videos planned that can genuinely transform your health. And please let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I genuinely love knowing which parts of Brazil my content is reaching. Now, back to our topic, enjoying coffee at the right time and in the right way. The first golden moment, breakfast, but not immediately upon waking. When you first wake up, your priority should be to drink a large glass of water. Wait for about 30 to 60 minutes afterward, then consume something that contains protein. This could be scrambled eggs, a slice of cheese, plain unsweetened yogurt, or any other quality source of protein. Only after you've had this protein-rich food should you enjoy your coffee, and it should be plain, with absolutely no sugar or sweetener. Why prioritize protein first? Because protein acts as a buffer against the stimulating effects of caffeine on your cortisol levels. It provides essential amino acids that your liver can utilize more efficiently. This buffering effect helps prevent that surge in cortisol that needlessly releases glucose into your bloodstream. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology demonstrated that consuming protein before carbohydrates and caffeine effectively reduces the post-meal glucose spike. And if you want to amplify these benefits even further, consider adding half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder to your coffee. Cinnamon contains compounds that can partially mimic the action of insulin, assisting your cells in absorbing glucose. A review published in the journal Nutrients indicated that regular consumption of cinnamon may contribute to a modest reduction in fasting glucose levels. It's not a medical treatment, but it certainly serves as a helpful ally. The second moment, coffee before lunch. This is a well-kept secret that very few people are aware of. About 20 to 30 minutes before your main midday meal, drink a small cup of plain black coffee without any sugar. The chlorogenic acid present in coffee will then function much like that traffic controller I mentioned earlier, effectively slowing down the absorption of sugar from the foods you're about to eat. This significantly reduces the post-meal glucose spike, which is one of the primary drivers in the development of type 2 diabetes. A study conducted by researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital, affiliated with Harvard Medical School, and published in Diabetes Care, showed that components within coffee, particularly chlorogenic acid and trigonelline, significantly lowered glucose and insulin concentrations within the first 15 minutes after consuming carbohydrates compared to a placebo. This effect is real, it's measurable, and you can take advantage of it without spending any extra money. The third moment, coffee after physical exercise. Do you engage in walking or any form of physical activity? If so, pay close attention. Within 30 minutes after you finish your walk or any exercise, drink a cup of plain coffee. When your muscles are active or have just been worked, they become significantly more receptive to glucose. They essentially act like sponges, readily absorbing sugar from your blood to use as fuel. Caffeine, consumed at this particular time, enhances this effect, helping your muscles to absorb glucose even more efficiently. This represents a metabolic window of opportunity that most people unfortunately miss. Regarding the total amount of coffee you should consume daily, the World Health Organization, along with most medical guidelines, considers consuming up to 4 or 5 small cups of coffee per day as part of a healthy lifestyle to be safe for the majority of adults. The Karolinska Institute's review of 30 studies that I referenced earlier found that this amount falls within the range associated with protective benefits against diabetes. However, it's important to remember that everyone is unique. If you experience palpitations, anxiety, tremors, or insomnia after drinking coffee, it might be an indication that your caffeine metabolism is slower, which is a genetically determined trait. In such cases, consider reducing your intake to 2 cups per day or opting for a high-quality decaffeinated coffee. Decaf still contains chlorogenic acid and retains many of its beneficial properties. Here's a story I absolutely must share. Donnelly, a 68-year-old retired teacher, came to my clinic diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 3 years prior. She was taking metformin, but her glucose levels remained difficult to control. She was the kind of patient who meticulously followed all instructions. She took her medication, reduced her intake of rice, yet her HbA1c stubbornly stayed above 7.5%. When we discussed her daily routine, I discovered she drank sweetened coffee with milk in the morning, had coffee with sweet biscuits in the afternoon, and had practically stopped exercising because her legs felt heavy. Together, we devised a simple plan. For breakfast, she was instructed to wait 45 minutes after waking, eat a boiled egg, and then have plain coffee with cinnamon. For pre-lunch coffee, a small cup 20 minutes before eating. She incorporated a 25-minute walk in the afternoon 3 times a week, followed by a coffee immediately afterward. We eliminated the sweetened afternoon coffee and the biscuits entirely. 6 weeks later, she returned to the clinic with a smile I will never forget. Her HbA1c had dropped from 7.5% to 6.8%. Her fasting glucose was down to 109. She told me, "Doctor, I woke up with energy this morning for the first time in years. We didn't change her medication, we changed her relationship with coffee. But now I need to caution you about something critical that might be undermining your efforts without you even realizing it. Coffee has certain invisible enemies that can completely destroy all the benefits I've just described. Let me list the main culprits. Enemy number 1, sugar in any form. Whether it's refined sugar, brown sugar, demerara, or honey, anything sweet added to your coffee creates an immediate glucose spike that completely cancels out the protective effect of chlorogenic acid. The 2025 Harvard research I mentioned made this exceptionally clear. Coffee consumed with sugar offers significantly reduced protection against diabetes. Enemy number 2, artificial sweeteners. As I've already explained, there's growing evidence suggesting that aspartame and sucralose can disrupt the delicate balance of your gut microbiota, which is absolutely essential for healthy glucose metabolism. If you feel the need to sweeten your coffee, consider trying natural stevia, which, based on current research, has not shown the same negative effects. Enemy number 3, industrial instant coffee, the kind you find in sachets. These products often contain hidden sugars, hydrogenated fats, and various additives that significantly compromise their nutritional quality. Always prioritize natural ground coffee, preferably 100% Arabica, freshly brewed. Enemy number 4, pairing coffee with ultra-processed foods. Think white bread, filled cookies, or industrial cakes. When you combine coffee with these types of refined carbohydrates, the resulting glucose spike is so immense that not even the chlorogenic acid in the coffee can adequately compensate. Finally, I want to introduce you to what I call the protection triad, because coffee works even more powerfully when it's integrated into a broader context of healthy lifestyle habits. First element, smart coffee. This is the approach I've outlined, drinking coffee at the right times without sugar to maximize the benefits of chlorogenic acid. Second element, movement. You don't need to join a gym or engage in strenuous workouts. A brisk 30-minute walk 3 to 5 times a week is sufficient to dramatically improve your insulin sensitivity. Moving muscles act like natural drains, effectively pulling glucose out of your bloodstream independently of insulin. This has been validated by an overwhelming number of studies, so many that it would be impossible to list them all here. Third element, adequate protein intake in your meals. Protein is the macronutrient that has the least impact on your blood glucose levels. It promotes a feeling of fullness and, crucially, helps preserve muscle mass. Muscle is the largest consumer of glucose in your body. After the age of 60, your protein requirements actually increase because your body becomes less efficient at utilizing it. Make sure to include a source of protein in each of your main meals. Eggs, chicken, fish, beans, cheese, and plain yogurt are all excellent options. When these three elements, smart coffee consumption, regular movement, and sufficient protein intake, work in synergy, their effects are amplified exponentially. Coffee improves insulin sensitivity, exercise enhances glucose uptake by your muscles, and protein helps stabilize post-meal glucose spikes. It's a potent combination that doesn't require significant financial investment or specialized products. However, I need to be completely honest with you about one thing. Everything I've described here involves complementary lifestyle strategies that are firmly rooted in solid scientific evidence. While these strategies can be incredibly beneficial, they absolutely do not replace the need for proper medical evaluation and ongoing follow-up care. If you have already been diagnosed with diabetes and are currently taking medication, never alter the dosage or discontinue your medication on your own. Ideally, you should take this information to your doctor, discuss it thoroughly with them, and make any necessary adjustments under professional guidance. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have a family member, perhaps a father, mother, sibling, or a close friend, who struggles with high blood sugar levels or already has diabetes? Please share this video with that person right now. You might be providing them with information that could truly change something significant in their life. Access to quality, science-based information is one of the most valuable gifts we can give to those we care about. I want to leave you with a thought that has guided me throughout my medical career. Your body is not your adversary. Your body is constantly striving to find balance, to heal itself, and to adapt. When your glucose levels rise, when that persistent fatigue doesn't subside, or when your legs begin to swell, these are not random occurrences. They are signals. They are your body's cries for help. And often, what your body is requesting is not a new pill. Sometimes, it's simply asking for a small change, like adjusting the timing of when you drink your cup of coffee. True health doesn't reside in a pharmacy. It lives in the habits you cultivate every single day. In my next video, I will reveal the 5 types of foods that individuals with prediabetes absolutely need to eliminate from their diet as soon as possible, because these foods silently inflame your glucose levels, and most people have no idea. Make sure you turn on notifications so you don't miss it. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and it has been a genuine pleasure sharing this information with you. Please take excellent care of yourself and extend that same care to your loved ones. Your health is ultimately shaped by the small, consistent choices you make each day. So, make them count. Start with one simple change today, and your future self will thank you immensely. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.